Welcome to the next lesson in our complete Intro to Rendering in Blender course. Quick reminder, we're offering the entire first unit of our course for free for a limited time here on YouTube. If you're new here, I'd recommend starting at the beginning of the course. I've added a link in the description. All right, go ahead and open up Blender and let's jump right in. In the previous set of lessons, we've been covering our checklist for creating photorealistic renderings using Blender. And in that checklist, we've covered step 1, which was creating our render-ready model, the monkey head with the plane in the background. Step 2 was getting your camera set up, and we were thinking about this through the lens of being a professional photographer. So when we set up our camera, we're thinking about how that would work in the real world and relating that to Blender. So we've done that. We've got our view here all set up. Step 3 was to create the lighting conditions. Now, I just reopened this file, so I don't have my viewport set up to the rendered view. So I'll go ahead and do that. You should do the same if you're jumping back in after closing this file. So on the far right top corner here of this top viewport, click on the little ball icon for viewport shading rendered. And so we had set up our lighting here. And then step 4, we had also set up our materials. So we had this realistic background material that we had imported in, and then we had created our own materials for the monkey head. So now in this lesson, we're on step 5, which once you have all of those things done, if you're thinking about it like a professional photographer in the real world, it's time to take that final shot. And in Blender, taking that final photograph means that you're going to click the render button, or you're going to click the menu item to render. But first, you're going to dial in the settings of your camera. And for us, those are the render settings that we need to create that final high resolution image. So since we're done with all of the shader nodes and everything we used from the previous lesson, let's go back up to the top and click on the Layout Workspace tab so that we just have the Layout Workspace. And then again, I'll need to switch to the rendered view in the viewport shading here. Okay, and so that'll start rendering and resolving itself. Over on the right-hand side, go ahead and click on the camera icon. That's for the render properties. And the first choice you have to make when you're at this step is which render engine you're going to use. Now, in a previous lesson, we talked all about the difference between Cycles and Eevee, and we made a choice early on that we were going to use Cycles for this example, and we're going to stick with that. But it is important to note that if you were using Eevee all along just so that your previews were happening faster, but you wanted your final result to be more realistic, you would need to flip to Cycles at this point. And now remember, the Cycles choice is going to give us more realism, but at the cost of longer render times. But the good news is I have 3 big tips that will help you reduce your render times when using Cycles. Now, the first one is your resolution. So just beneath the camera icon, click on the Output tab, and you're going to go to where it says Resolution here in the Format area. Now, we already set this up in a previous lesson as well to be 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. And we did that so that we could preview things a little bit more quickly. But this is the point where you would want to set your resolution to the final image size. Now for me, I'm just going to say that I want this to be 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. Of course, for this example, if you want it to continue to render really quickly for you, you can leave it at 1000 by 1000, especially if you have a slower computer. But I'm going to go ahead, and you can follow along if you'd like, and click on the 1000, type 2000, then tab to go to the next line, and then 2000. And then press enter, and you've got 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. The frame size will look exactly the same because it's that same square aspect ratio. And I chose 2000 by 2000 because in my mind, that's the final size I need for this image. If this image was going onto a website and it was going to be displayed at a smaller resolution, then of course you should dial these down because increasing the resolution size is going to increase the render times. And just doubling that size like we did right now from 1000 to 2000 is going to be more than double the render times. Because if you think about it, you're not only adding another 1000 pixels along one dimension, which would double it, but you're also adding it along another dimension, which now you could imagine would roughly quadruple the size of the total number of pixels. But I'm just going to assume that 2000 by 2000 is good for what we need to do. So that's the first thing to keep in mind, is setting your resolution to a size that is exactly what you need, no more and no less. Hey everyone, we're doing something a little unconventional here. And for a limited time, we're giving you access to the entire first unit of one of our paid courses for free right here on YouTube. And this lesson is a part of it. Blender is a beast of a program to learn, but with the right approach, it doesn't have to be. That's why we created Blender Academy, to help people build the Blender skills they need and then go out and get the jobs they want. We hope you find these lessons to be a good investment of your time.
If you do, and you're serious about learning Blender, head over to our website and continue learning with us. Thanks for watching, make sure to like and subscribe, and now, back to the lesson.
The second thing that's going to help you speed up your renders is to use the GPU if you're on a PC or if you're on a newer Mac. So let me explain what I mean by that. Come back up to the camera icon where you have render properties, click on that tab there. And just under render engine cycles, when you're using cycles, then you'll notice below it says device. And right now it's set to CPU for me. That means that it's going to use my computer's CPU to calculate this final rendering. But you can also harness, for certain computers, the power of the GPU to speed up your renderings. Now, in order to do this, first, let's make sure we're on the same page. If you go up to your top left menu where it says Edit, go ahead and click on Edit. Then go to Preferences and open the Preferences window. On the left-hand side, click on System. And then you'll notice up at the top it says Cycles Render Devices. And you'll see some tabs up here. For me, I'm on an older Mac. And because I'm on a Mac, it gives me this metal option. If you're on a PC, you might see optics or CUDA or both. You may even see some other things depending on what kind of setup you're running. The main idea is to come over to either the optics or CUDA tab if you're on a PC, or the metal tab if you're on a Mac. And you want to check on both devices. And if you have more than two devices, perhaps you have two GPU cards or something else, you may have more checkboxes. But the idea here is that you're going to make sure that you've enabled your CPU and your GPU to be used in your cycles renderings. Now, a note about metal, if you're on a newer Mac, it can take advantage of your GPU if you check it here. I'm on an older Mac, and even though my GPU is showing here, it's not something that's going to speed up my render times. If you're on a PC with an NVIDIA card, those GPUs will definitely speed things up. If you're using a slightly older PC, you're most likely going to use the CUDA tab up top and then check things on from there. And if you're on a newer PC, you're going to likely be able to use the optics tab up top and then check on your options there. The main idea is, however you do this, to check on all of the options so they're available to you when it comes time to render. Then go ahead and close this Blender Preferences window. And over in the right-hand side under Render Properties, in that first little area just under Cycles, you see it says Device. If you flip this menu down, you can pick your GPU, and that will speed things up. If you have an option to use both GPU and CPU, go ahead and try that out. That could be the fastest option. It is important to note that there's not a single choice here under device that is certain to be faster in every case in Blender. Different files may require different things, but in general, your GPU is going to render faster than your CPU alone. And in newer versions of Blender and on newer computers, it's actually usually the case that CPU and GPU together will render the fastest. You'll just want to experiment on your own to make sure you know the right combination for you. For me, because I'm on an older Mac, I can't really take advantage of my GPU, so I'll leave it to CPU. But just pointing out, if you flip this menu down and you're on a PC or a newer Mac, you now can take advantage of your GPU, and that should speed things up. And then the third tip for speeding up your final render settings is in the same Render Properties tab, go down under Sampling, you'll see where it says Render, there's Noise Threshold. And right now, mine is defaulting to 0.01. And this is essentially saying that it wants to render until it gets the noise or the graininess of the image down to a certain amount. So the lower this number is, the longer the render times will be. And in theory, the higher the quality will be because there won't be any graininess or noise. However, you'll notice just a little bit lower, we have the denoise checkbox checked on. Make sure that's checked on. And that means that at some point when the render is done, there's a little algorithm that runs to denoise or to try to clean it up or smooth out any noisiness in the image. And it turns out that because of that, we can actually set our noise threshold higher, which will decrease the render times without sacrificing really much in visual quality. So there might be different things to experiment with here, but let's go ahead and click on this number for noise threshold, type 0.5, and press enter or return. 0.5 will massively speed up your render times. In fact, I ran a test with this file, again on an older Mac, so my results will vary from yours, and it was about 75 times faster in the rendering, taking something closer to like 15 to 18 seconds, rather than about the 25 minutes it was taking prior to me changing that setting. So this could have a massive improvement for you, again, depending on the computer you're using, the different settings you have at the device level, and things like that. But I recommend trying 0.5 and seeing if that works for you. Just know that if it gets a little too grainy for your liking, you can always lower that down, but it most likely doesn't need to be down there at 0.01 as it's defaulting. Okay, so those 3 tips should help you speed up your render times. And of course, it is important to just note that faster hardware helps. So I'm on a slower, older Mac, and Macs generally aren't very good for rendering for Blender, but I just wanted to use this to show how you can indeed render things even on a slower computer. But if you have an option to have a faster computer, so something newer with more CPU horsepower, and especially if you're talking about being on a PC with an NVIDIA GPU, you can definitely get much faster results. So if you need to speed up your render times, getting faster hardware will of course help. Now, there are a bunch of other tweaks that we could cover about the render settings over on the right-hand side. And there's definitely some things we cover in our full rendering course, and that'll be in a future set of lessons. But for right now, this is the base level stuff that you need to know to massively speed up your render times for these very first renderings you're creating in Blender. So for now, the last thing that you would do here is render out your final image. This is the equivalent of you've dialed in all your camera settings and it's time to take that final shot. And to do that, it's just like when we were test rendering. Go up to your render menu option and pick the option for render image. You'll notice that it tells you the time elapsed up here in the left-hand corner. And after a little bit, you'll see how long it finally takes you to render this out. Okay, and then once your rendering is all done, you'll be able to go up to the image tab and then you'll be able to save your image here. Mine's still rendering, so these are grayed out, but you'd be able to save it here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and let this render out. And then in the next lesson, we're gonna cover the last step, which is once you have that final rendering, while it could be the final image that you show, often, thinking like a professional photographer, you're gonna want to enhance that final image. And while you could take it into a program like Photoshop to make those enhancements, Blender actually has all of the functionality you need right there inside of it. And so as soon as this is done rendering, we're gonna take it straight into that step. So if you're following along here, don't close down your Blender, just follow along with the next lesson, and we'll learn together how to enhance this final image in Blender.
Congratulations, you made it through the lesson. Did you find this video to be helpful? Let us know by giving it a like. If you're ready for the next lesson, you can find it in this playlist. And if you're interested in learning more about how we can help you build the skills you need, head over to blenderacademy.com. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, happy blending!